You're watching Hodgepodge. This is Tom Barnes from my studio. I've been a professional musician my whole life, or 20 years or so. Was it 20 years? Been playing guitar since I was 15 years old. Started off playing blues by ear. Albert King, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Actually, that was a little later on when he was around. Jimi Hendrix and all that. Learned a lot of that stuff, and I played basically by ear from day one. So when I started playing, I really didn't even know what to do. So I just took my fingers and slid them up and down the guitar and made noise, and for hours and hours until it started to sound decent. I think I was about 16 and a half. I was playing along with an Albert King record, and I suddenly knew the whole thing note for note from start to finish, and wondered how that was possible. But I was brainwashed when I was about 2, I think, listening to old blues records and stuff, so it stuck in my head. And then I kind of dove into every other style I can think of. Studied classical guitar up at OCC. Did 2 years of that. Classical was more just to get me, challenge me at something extra, which is kind of cool. 9/11 happened. I think I was playing in bands for a long time before that, but when that happened, I got laid off from my job, and I just decided, what am I going to do? I had no job, and wife and a child, and I remember thinking, well, maybe this is a good time to go for it, try to go for music full time. And I told my father, how do you think I could pull that off? And he said, well, put in 40 hours a week, see what happens there. And I said, 40 hours a week? How am I going to do that? Well, call people up, write songs, try to get some gigs, whatever you can do to get yourself started. As long as you put in 40 hours, it should eventually pay off. And I never thought of it that way. So basically did that. And then next thing you know, I was playing 5-6 nights a week, all kinds of terrible places and great places, both. Took the good with the bad, and started teaching also, which is another thing to be a musician. It's good to have that avenue, because you tend to get burnt out when you're playing a lot. I mean, I play a couple hundred shows a year, so after August or so, I'm kind of, out of my mind, and need a little break. So I cut back down to a reasonable couple nights a week, 3 nights a week, and then try to teach a bunch of students. Generally, 25 to 35 students a week, which is quite a bit actually. But I space them out throughout the whole week, and it's nice. Well, I've been teaching since college, actually. When I was at OCC, when I'd go practice classical, a lot of times some of the other guitar players would take lessons from me to learn how to play, usually blues or rock or something like that. So I would be teaching lessons in the practice rooms. I don't know if that was legal or not, but I did. And it was all right, but I wasn't a really good teacher because I didn't know the reading aspect that well. So I kind of stumbled and just did whatever I could do to. This is how you play an E chord, So it wasn't really for real. But then as I learned how to read, I started throwing that in there, and then I got a job teaching out at the Ahnest Music out in Fayetteville, and that was when I started there. I had about 55 students a week, and I was playing 5 nights a week, so that was insane. That was when I really went full board, and that was a lot of students. But every time I'd get, didn't want to do all that, I'd drive out there in the way, and I'd look up on a roof and see, 10 guys up on a roof sweating, and you could tell they're hurting at that moment. And I drive by and kind of slap myself, say, "What are you whining about, baby? You're going to teach guitar at a nice studio." And so I got used to that. But by then, there was another teacher, local Marcellus guy, Lauren Kraskowski. I remember with my first lesson at the Savanna, I didn't know how to read tabs, but I just got done in college, so I knew how to read music. But I didn't know how to read tabs, so I ran in his room and said, "This kid wants to do tabs, and I don't even know how to do that." Well, the numbers are the frets, and the lines are the strings. So I said, "All right, that sounds good." Went back, said, "All right, Green Day song, there you go." And there it was. But so over the years, I've just been kind of building my own my own studio, and like actually when I used to teach there, a lot of times students would do a no-show, and I'd get paid anyway, usually. So then I would tell the guy, the boss, every time that happened, I'd reach up and grab a book and go, put this towards my pay off their lesson, whatever. And I would take the book and I would learn some banjo or some mandolin or drums. I'll do a lot of drums. So I do all that, or I'd learn some jazz or on guitar, or classical, work on that. So I always kept getting like free books, kind of. It wasn't really free, but so I kept adding to my stuff, and then I'd even do that with instruments sometimes. So I started building all, where I have everything I've ever wanted, basically. And I ended up opening a place in Marcellus, and that went well for a while. But I really was, I think, really heading back to just wanting to be at my house and teach at my house. So I'm always there for the kids, and because having kids too, obviously adds to, having 2 kids especially. You're busy with that too. So longevity is really to me is the key. Just keeping busy constantly, no matter what. That's, I guess, consistency. That'd be the main thing for me. Struggle wise, a lot of times, like a couple of years back when I was playing in more bars and the bands and really some of the big stuff you think is awesome, they say, "Oh, you're going to the next level," and it's a lot of times it's really not. It's really, well, you get paid less money because you're always worried about how many people are going to show up to the show, and am I going to get paid at the end of the night? When I was your age, I'd be thinking I would never play these places I play now. Lakeside Vista, Limp Lizard, nice restaurants, even restaurants and party reunions. But I played the Bus Garage a couple weeks ago. That was awesome. Got a violin student tomorrow coming from it. I don't even know how to play the violin, but I've been working on it. But it's just taken years to get it down to where I'm happy with everything I'm doing. Before, you'd be like, I gotta go write songs, or I gotta go, get to play my electric so I can be better for the band, or no, I'm gonna play solo, or I'm gonna teach 8,000 students. So I just kind of probably have major ADHD. I'm pretty sure. I like it. It works out good for me because I can run around the whole building, do the laundry, go, cook, get something started in the stove on low so it doesn't burn the house down, but then, run back downstairs to my little office, figure something out in the back, mix something, get ready for lessons. I can just bounce, everywhere, but I'm always focusing on just making money playing music. But it's not all about the money at the same time, but I haven't had a job since 2000, so it's about the money sometimes. I can get paid and play originals, but you gotta, I have to always balance it out and think, well, I'll play a couple covers here, and then I'll play an original. And I've been doing that for since before 2000. I forced the originals in there. I basically, everything I do is basically built around my original music. Even teaching. I mean, everything I do all comes back to that. I wish I could do all originals, but the covers fund my originals, which all the CDs I sell. I mean, I make CDs on my own. I record them all. I play most of the instruments. I have some of my friends come over and help me out sometimes with that too. But for me to be a musician, I feel like I have to be home a lot of the time. So I'm trying to do a lot of stuff here. Eventually I have the new house, and I'll go out there and build a big stage and the whole deal.